All right, let's do this. It is Wednesday, February 11th, 2026. Let's start with the S&P. We had an early high of 69.93. We had a washout to 69.11, and we settled basically down a fraction of a point. I mean, officially the close was 0.000%, but we down 0.3 points, and it was just enough to make for a bearish engulfing candle. And I'll actually highlight the 60-minute chart. But yeah, that's something I want to talk about here. Look at this black candle. So there was also one in silver, but we'll get to silver later. Um, Spiky candle, black, bearish. And that played out. Look, it's a 69.11, bounced from the 50 and 200 MA on the hourly chart. Chop for the rest of the day. Now look at this. Black candle. Didn't have the spike, right? But it's still black candle, drop, churn. Kind of similar, right? If you ignore that spike there and that spike there, I'm wondering if Thursday's got to open up a little bit like there, but then maybe tomorrow we'll see a big downside reversal and then floor. In this case, on the 29th, we floored from this gap. I'm wondering if we open, my guess, if I had to guess tomorrow, I think we're going to open a little bit higher and then wash out. And I think this gap from last Friday, which hasn't been tagged, is a serious threat either tomorrow or maybe early Friday with the CPI data. So I'm twitchy about this, but to me this would be a buying level in my view. I would only be spooked if we take out that low, but that doesn't look likely. But yeah, there's some similarity here. So if we open up tomorrow, I would look for a downside reversal. If we instead open down, then I would maybe think we can get down to orange gap either late Thursday, early Friday, which again to me would be a buying level. But I do find that curious. There's a little bit of a pattern here, especially with the black candle aspect. We almost have it over here as well, right? Now in this case, the black candle did play out briefly. Then we had churn, and then bam, and then we washed out there. Off we went again. And again, broadly, this is a lot of chop, right? You know, and I know people are saying, "Oh my God, the S&P can't break 7K." It doesn't have to do it, in the near term. Clearly there was some sellers this morning on the bounce, myself included. But anyway, let's move on now. I will actually, before I forget, I will highlight the VIX on a 60-minute. Look at that. We have a gap. We have a gap to fill. Actually, that gap needs to be a tiny bit lower. It's just not drawn quite properly. But we have a gap 20 to 21s. I think we have a pretty good chance of that either tomorrow or Friday. Now, as somebody who wants to buy back silver, and forgive my indulgence about that particular commodity, I want to be buying silver when equities wash out. I also want to be buying silver when the VIX is maxing out. So maybe look, for instance, this is a good example. I would like to see a couple of candles with a few spikes in green gap. So give me a couple of things like that. There's another example here, right? Where the VIX rebounded, spiky candles, and they sold it off again, which of course is bullish equities, right? Like here, another spike, sell, another spike. But yeah, I wanna go long silver when the VIX is in this zone. So yeah, just a moment. All right, so let's move on onto some individual stocks. We will flash through things quickly because I know your attention span is Limited. So start with Apple. Up 0.7%, 275s. It's not a black candle, but it does lean to a little bit of weakness. Don't care about Archer. Agnico Eagle, 2.5%. Just checking. Not a black candle. And I actually will say that I've not marked it on there, but today's price action fully fills the gap from the crash wave on the Friday 2 weeks ago. So that one's been filled. Very powerful stock. Great company. American Eagle, black candle. Actually, no, I retract that. It's a penny above, but it is a spiky candle. And you could argue this is a multi-week bear flag, and it's because it's under the 50-day, right? Look at the failure, a double failure there against the 50-day. That's bearish. First Majestic Silver, 2 cents, black candle. Almost basically, it's an effective fill of the gap, bearish. We do have we see there's the Friday gap, right? I've not marked it on there, but you can see it. It's around 20 to 21. We could see this down, you know, it's possible. We could tag that little gap. AMD, black candle at the intersecting 250 and 10 MA. Bearish, if only another day or two. But yeah, that's a bearish chart. Amazon, down 1.4%. Not great, right? If the main market gets whacked tomorrow, we are not going to hold that line. And you think, okay, where's the next support? You have maybe 195, 195, 190. Arak mining, black candle, bearish. Boeing, down 2.6%, short-term bearish. Baba, don't know. Bank of America, down 2.8%. Daily momentum is weakening. Daily momentum's prone to turning negative. Probably not tomorrow, but on Friday. That's net bearish into Friday. It's a concern. Bitmine, not pretty, right? Look at it, $19, 71, 160. What a horror show. What a horror show that is. Oh my God. I keep meaning to try and get the damn dates on the bottom. Caterpillar, look at that. Again, I've been saying this for a while now. If you want one really bullish stock for the bulls to tout, this is the one. Look at it. 4.4% today. 775. It was upgraded by Argus. I forget what the numbers were, but anyway, bullish upgrade. I mean, look at the 50-day, holding, holding, holding all the way along there. Look at that. It's incredible, incredible strength. Very bullish sign for the market. Miko, black candle, bearish. Earnings of Friday morning. Carnival, chop, don't care. Cleveland Cliffs, black candle. Yesterday's reversal candle played out, but yeah, tomorrow's bearish. Coinbase earnings are due Thursday after hours. It's down 5.7% today. Considering the main market, if the main market goes down tomorrow, the 145s will not hold. Next support 142 from April. Hell of a drop, right? 444, 145. I would say that if this does end Thursday on a bearish note, I would be looking for a jump on earnings. The bold will be buying, in my view. I could buy it. I don't really want to. This, in my view, silver's much more straightforward, ironically. But it's a fine company. Decker's chop. Disney leading weak. Energy Transfer, black candle. Endeavor Silver, black candle. Ford holding holding the 50-day. Earnings weren't great though. Freeport up 3.5%. 65.46, not a black candle. Again, I'm midterm bullish to this. 100 bucks. That's gonna need copper at least in the sevens, if not the eights. Momentum's prone to turning positive. Probably not tomorrow. Maybe either Friday or next Tuesday when we come back from the long weekend. Google, not great, right? Down 2.4%. Looks like last week's low is going to be taken out. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking this is not likely. Unless you think the S&P's got a spiral into March, this target is not currently on the menu. Home Depot, underlying strength, earnings are probably coming out next week. Heckler, 3.1%, black candle. I wouldn't even be surprised to see it take out that low, but I will say there's a lot of buyers in this one at the 50-day, so maybe it only comes down to 21.92 tomorrow. But that's $2. That's 7-8%, right? We could see this down 7-8% tomorrow. Yep. Intel up 2.4%. A lot of chop. Yeah, it's just, you could argue it's just burning off overbought conditions. Joby down a bit. JP Morgan. That's a bearish engulfing candle. Bearish for Thursday. KKR down 2%. That is also a bearish engulfing candle. Not great. Kinder Morgan, black candle. Cree, bearish engulfing candle. Centrus Energy down, Jesus, it was down 10% this morning. Settled down 20.7%. Earnings, I can't remember what earnings were. I never really checked. Uh, that is an ugly break under the 200-day. You can see how it spiked from the 200-day last week. This isn't great, is it? What are we going to come down to? The next support is, I guess you could say, 200 bucks, and then the August. Yeah, a lot of support around 162, 164. It's a good company, right? It's a nuclear company. If you're into nuclear, this is a big, boring company. It's much more steady and stable than SMR or Oklo. Meta down a little. MP Materials down 2.8. That's a bearish engulfing candle. Microsoft bearish. Micron. I don't know what this is up 10% for. I don't know. Netflix down 3.1%. Look at that. Yesterday's black candle with a spike played out. In fact, it looks like we're going to take out the 79s tomorrow. And next support is around what? 75 and then 70. And before I forget, I'm going to look at two stocks that a listener asked about today. One was called TOST. TOST settled down 4.9%. Most partly due to the main market cooling. Earnings are due Thursday after hours. So it looks like this is going to go down tomorrow with the main market, but it's had a rough time. Look, it was 49, 26. So I'm guessing earnings will be okay. So I'm guessing Thursday will be down, but post earnings Friday, I'll be looking for a jump. Maybe even something like yeah, maybe something like May. A little jump. That's on earnings, I'm pretty sure. And the other stock I wanted to highlight was Uber. Uber had a rough day, down 3.4%. Again, this is now a sustainably profitable company, so it's okay. It's just being dragged down by sister Lyft, which dropped. Wow, look at that. 17% on the day. Also, what is that? You know what that is, right? You know what that is. It's a baby bear flag. Baby bear flag ahead of earnings. I don't follow the stock, so I didn't notice, but that's what it was, and that played out. Look at and then see where it sits. Next support is around 13.16 from August. Also note that that low is basically a fill of that gap from May. Lyft was down on a revenue miss, I think it's profitable, but I do remember that revenue was a pretty distinct miss from expectations. So yeah, this is why Lyft is why Uber's down. So yeah, we were at Netflix, weren't we? There we go. Nike down 1%. Today's candle is bearish engulfing. That does lean red for Thursday. Nvidia up 0.8. Can you believe it? That's a black candle. Bearish for Thursday. Oklo dragged down by LEU. ONDS down 4.6%. Short-term bearish for Thursday. Oxy up 2% because of oil. Pan American Silver up 1%. Black candle. We know what a black candle is, right? Look at this. We have a gap there. We also have a micro gap from last Friday around what? What's that? 50, 53, 52. I like the company. Palantir down 2.7. Short-term bearish. Next support is 125. PayPal, which I did highlight on X just earlier. Company Man did a good video for it. PayPal did 2.5%, 40.46. What is this? You know what this is, right? This is a baby bear flag. There's nothing good here, is there? This is horrible. Look at this. Look at this. Anybody trying to buy into this horror? And look at the high. It was marked by a spiky black candle from gap resistance. This is textbook stuff, people. This this is this is why I think charts really do. They tell a story. Look at that. You can even actually argue double top from 79s, gap fill, spiky black candle, and down we go. Down we go into hell. What a shame. What a shame. And I do say that sarcastically. Quantum Skip had earnings in after hours. I don't know what they were. Um, I lean short-term bearish, but maybe the stock's up 10% in after hours. I don't know. I like the company, but if the main market's down tomorrow, I'll be inclined to be down. Red Cat down 5% with the main market. Don't care about actually, I don't know. Why is it up? I mean, why is it up 10%? There's a little bit of hysteria here, right? 415 to 6. I would accept. We're talking about 50% upside in a matter of what, a month. I don't follow the company like I used to. Uh, the energy stocks have had a good run recently, but I'm not a fan of it. Rocket Lab down 3%. That's a baby bear flag. Net bearish for Thursday. SMR down 7% with a sector. Target up 2%. Yesterday's bearish engulfing candle did not play out. That's surprising. That is surprising. Tesla up 0.7. That's not a black candle, but it is a doji, which kind of supports the notion that Thursday will be red, at least a little bit. Take Two, Grand Theft Auto 6, down 3.2%. Yesterday's black candle played out. What a surprise. United Airlines, bearish engulfing candle. Don't care about that one. United Health up 2%, but spurious gains. Can't take it seriously right now. UPS, Jesus, look at it. 1.1% to $120. New multi-month high. Didn't I say this? I told you about this. I told you about this when I bought on that little tiny. I bought right down that little spike at night. Well, just a bit. I mean, I didn't buy at 98.41. I bought at 99.5. So I bought $1 above on that little spike right there. Of course, I sold it way too early some weeks ago. But my overall view is that has been playing out. I'll be right about that one. Exxon. Oh, look at this. Another new historic high. It's printing a new historic high almost every single day. What a run. Incredible. Oh my God, we haven't got to silver or gold yet, have we? Quick look at Bitcoin. Down 2%, 67K. Gold. So gold was technically up roughly $65, 1.3%, 5,089. We're above a 10 MA. Daily momentum is prone to turning positive. Not tomorrow. Could do it on Friday or next Tuesday when we reopen. I do think, for the record, I think we're going to take out 5608. Um, Not until March. I don't think that little high is going to be tough to break, but I think we'll do it. I think we're going to do it in March and then go to 6K. And silver, commodity silver first. We'll look at SLV as well because that's what I'm trading. So commodity silver was up $3.75, 4.6%, 84.53. Similar price action to gold in terms of structure. Daily momentum is still on the very low side. It's clearly not going to turn positive until maybe next. I mean, Thursday, Friday, Tuesday. Okay, daily momentum might turn positive next Wednesday or Thursday, maybe on Friday. So probably momentum will turn positive next week. But right now we're still on the negative side. In fact, relatively, we're way negative relative to October and November. So the price pressure is still negative, which is why I'm being damn cautious in terms of short-term trades. I do want to highlight silver SLV on a smaller time frame. Yeah, actually on a daily chart, of SLV, we settled with a black doji candle at the 10 MA. This does lean net bearish for tomorrow. So no, clearly that was capitulation volume on the crash day. Yeah. I will highlight SLV on a 60-minute. Maybe even. Actually, I'll go to a 15-minute. In fact, I'll even start after, because this is my little story. Actually, that chart needs to be cleaned up. But look, right? I wake up in the morning. I see silver up 6% in pre-market. The jobs data comes out and silver immediately drops 3%. So it went from up 6 to up 3, and I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, how annoying is that? By the time the market opened, silver was up about 4.5%. I was watching the 5-minute candle, which turned black. I'm like, get out. So I sold 2 positions here, literally there. That's where I sold, and I saw it drop pretty fast. There was a little bounce, and we broke down again because the main market was weak. A couple of spiky lows. We did come up all the way almost back to the top again, and then we're leaning weak, choppy. Again, this is a 5-minute cycle, so it's like the price action is very erratic. On a 15-minute chart, which I also did watch in pre-market, you can see the black candle there, cooling wave, bounce, micro double top, and then we churned for the rest of the day. Again, I would note we have this red gap from today, which hasn't filled, with orange gap from Monday. That hasn't filled. We tagged a little bit of it, but we haven't filled it. And if we look at a 60-minute, which is what I should conclude with today, on a 60-minute, you can see today's opening black candle and a lot of churn. We have 1, 2, 3 downside gaps. Remember, there's the one from last Friday. We haven't tagged that. I guess you could say we tagged it on that candle, perhaps. So I'm not particularly looking for that gap to be filled, but I would be more looking for certainly today's gap to fill and also maybe orange gap. Keep in mind, last Wednesday we had a black candle from resistance, chop, well, cooling wave and chop, and then on the Thursday, people have already forgotten about this. Last Thursday, silver dropped 16%. 16% last Thursday. And I'm wondering what the hell's going to happen tomorrow on Thursday because we had a black candle here, we had a little bit of chop, kind of similar. Are we going to drop down into orange gap tomorrow, which would be, I would be a very content buyer. Anything under, anything around 72, 71, or 70. I mean, 70 would be $6 down, which is about 8%. It's possible. And ironically, an 8% drop would only be half of what we went down last Thursday. So I'm trying to be careful here. I'm trying to be cautious. And that we're getting these little choppy up waves. And then you're like, are we gonna get a smack down? If equities are down, if the S&P is down more than 70, 80 points, silver's almost certainly going to be somewhere in orange gap, which in my view is a buy. Of course, I would also look to buy the VIX when the VIX is around 20 to 21. So that's my plan. My plan, again, also one other final little thing I should note. If SLV opens up tomorrow, I am not chasing. I do not like chasing silver on an up wave, especially because oftentimes you get a black candle or even if you don't, like here, right? Third, it jumps at the open and then rolls over. So anybody buying here got really smashed after literally a couple of hours. And yeah, it did gap up there, but I'm cautious. So if SLV opens up, I will not chase it. I am going to hope that it opens down somewhere in purple gap and then maybe goes down to orange gap late morning or tomorrow, where I would be probably a buyer again. And to be quite clear as well, green gap, yeah, we're gonna have to, we're gonna come up, we're gonna have to tag green gap at some point. Possible next week, yeah, yeah, yeah. We can do it next week. Are we gonna do it this Thursday, Friday? I don't think so. No, next week. Yeah, maybe we could do it next week. If we don't do it until the next week afterwards, fine. I don't care. It's in the scheme of things, a week or two either way doesn't matter. But we're gonna have to come up to here at some point, even if even if you believe 109 is gonna hold as a high for a couple of months, we're still gonna have to come up to here at some point. Probably sooner rather than later, right? So yeah, I would be looking to buy on any kind of weakness that we get and get it back up to 82 or preferably 89 and 90. And yeah, tomorrow will be in theory we should see some downside. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe there'll be an overnight news story or comment, something, anything at all. Or it could just be purely cyclical. That can happen that way. And on that note, I wish you a good Wednesday evening and an entertaining Thursday. Hopefully, lots of red boxes, which would keep everybody awake. Be good.